Okay, block one, week 2, session 1. We are starting back squats, 5 sets of 4 at the same weight used from last week. Hopefully that wasn't too heavy and that little extra rep isn't too much for you. If it is and you did go too heavy last week, then just adjust that weight, but hopefully that is not the case. Part B, you are building to a heavy power clean plus 2 front squats plus 1 push jerk. So that is a power clean from the floor into 2 front squats into 1 push jerk. Now that is in a 10-minute window. Now what I've put in the coach's notes down at the bottom is to build to around 70% of what you think you're gonna hit. So if you are aiming to hit 100, hit 70 in your warm up, then start that 10-minute clock, and then you've got 10 minutes to build to that heavy. I would imagine for most of you, you're going to be limited on that push jerk, so make sure you're focusing on that and you're warming that up well prior to starting that 10-minute clock. Part C is an EMOM for 5 minutes of 2 touch and go power cleans. Now they are going to be done at about 90% of what you have hit on part B. If you do feel as though 90% is quite light or quite heavy, you can adjust that percentage to what is going to be suitable for you, but hopefully that should be about right. D follows on to E. So D is a 1 minute test of max toes to bar. So 1 minute of max toes to bar in sets of 3 or more. Okay, so no smaller sets than 3. We're going to ideally try and build from this, so keep this number in mind, make sure you write it down, comment on how many toes to bar you get in that minute. Follows that on to E. Now you're going every 3 minutes for 3 total sets. You're going to accumulate 100% of your 1 minute max test. Okay, so some volume work, slowly trying to build up some volume. Each round of that or each set of that has a 2-minute cap. So let's just say, for example, I did 30 toes to bar in part D, so in my 1 minute test. When I hit part E, I'm going to hit that 30 as quickly as possible and in as few sets as possible, but it does have a 2-minute cap, so I will always get a 1 minute rest at minimum. That is block 1, week 2, session 1. Block 1, week 2, session number 3 of the week. You are starting with 2 squat cleans on the minute for 12 minutes. I would like you to start at around 70% of what you believe your 1 RM for a clean and jerk is. Start around 70%, and then I would like you to build with feel. So if you are pretty confident in catching that squat clean at the bottom of your squat, then I would like you to try and build as heavy as possible. Now these 2 squat cleans are not touch and go reps, so drop the bar from the top of your squat clean, from the top of your stance, reset your position at the bottom and go for that second rep. You got 12 sets to do, so don't build too aggressively. Have an idea of what you want to try and build towards and take small incremental jumps up towards that final set. B is some split jerk works on its own, 6 sets of 2 reps, starting at a moderate weight. Now, for some of you, for most of you, this is going to be a case of practicing positional and footwork throughout the split jerk. So make sure you're not going too heavy with that. Something you are confident going into your split stance, you are stable with that barbell overhead. And if I ask you to, you could be able to pause with that barbell overhead. That should be your aim for that. If you are pretty confident with a split jerk and you want to build to a heavy set of 2, then that is completely fine. C is some position paused snatch work. So we've got 3 positions that we are going to be pausing in. You're going to do 1 rep at each position, so it'll be 3 total reps within a set, and you're doing 5 sets of this. So the first position you're going to pause in is an above the knee hang, then a below the knee hang, and then 2 inches from the floor. I would suggest you watch the demo of me doing that on that first rep, deadlifting it up to the top, hips fully extend, and then slowly set yourself down into that first hang position. Always focusing on that hip contact with the barbell, nice hip extension, making sure we're being aggressive, keeping that bar nice and close. Sort of like a building from what we did in session 1 with those high hangs. So that hip extension, that hip contact, that bar positioning should stay the same throughout those 5 sets, just like we did earlier in the week. Panic Pro throwdown number 2 is a 14-minute AMRAP of 4 double dumbbell hang power cleans, 8 toes to bar and 24 double unders. Now this workout is going to be pretty grippy, a lot of grip taxing movements, so make sure you are managing that grip fatigue. Those dumbbells, those 4 reps, it's not too many reps. I would encourage you to try and keep those unbroken, making sure we're getting those elbows through at the top. Moving on to those 8 toes to bar. Now if you are pretty good at toes to bar, hopefully you can keep those unbroken, but for most of you this is going to be sort of where that workout is won or lost. So you may have to break those. Make sure you break those early and into small manageable sets. And then those 24 double unders is just to spike that heart rate, keep that blood in those forearms, ready to get back onto those dumbbells for some more grip taxing work. Try and be aggressive. Those rep schemes are relatively small, so there's going to be a lot of transitions. There are 3 transitions per round, so every time you get through a round, that'll be 3 transitions. That will add up. So even 2-3 seconds on each one added compared to your competitor is going to add up to potentially a whole round or even a minute or so of work. So be really sort of disciplined on yourself in moving from movement to movement, trying to move through that as quickly as possible. Let us know how you get on. Good luck.